The UK's richest 1% now hold more wealth than 70% of the population combined. This staggering statistic isn't just a number, it's a window into the reality of modern Britain, where the gap between the haves and have-nots is wider than ever before. This headline isn't just shocking, it's a snapshot of a nation split by money. It's a story that plays out in every city, town, and village, shaping the lives of millions in ways both visible and hidden. The divide isn't just about the ultra-rich, it's about the growing gap between those with a financial safety net and those living paycheck to paycheck. For many, the dream of financial stability feels increasingly out of reach, while others enjoy comforts and opportunities that seem unattainable to most. This gap shapes where we live, our children's opportunities, and our ability to retire comfortably. It influences the schools our kids attend, the healthcare we receive, and even the food we put on the table. For every family investing for the future, many more are struggling to make ends meet. The stress of unpaid bills and uncertain futures is a daily reality for millions, while a fortunate few plan for holidays and early retirement. The wealth gap is widening, and it's easy to feel frustrated or even powerless in the face of such inequality. But understanding the roots of this divide is the first step toward change. But this isn't about outrage, it's about understanding. By looking deeper, we can see the forces at play and begin to ask the right questions about our society and our future. Wealth isn't the same as income. It's a crucial distinction that often gets overlooked in public debates. Income is what you earn. Wealth is everything you own, minus debts. It's your savings, your home, your investments, assets that can provide security or leave you vulnerable. Some people on modest incomes build wealth through saving and investing, while high earners can still live paycheck to paycheck if their spending outpaces their earnings. The path to financial security isn't always obvious. Knowing the difference is key to understanding financial security. It's the foundation for making informed decisions about your own future and for understanding the bigger picture. So, let's look past the headlines and dig into the facts. How is wealth really distributed in the UK? What does it mean for ordinary people? Let's get started and uncover the real story behind the numbers. Imagine lining up every UK household from most in debt to most wealthy, then splitting them into 10 groups, deciles. The top 10% of households hold a staggering 43% of all wealth. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% own just 9%. The top decile averages over $1.5 million in wealth. The middle decile, about $150,000. The bottom, often negative net wealth. This isn't about envy, it's about understanding the structure we all live in. Most people are clustered in the lower and middle sections, with a steep climb at the top. Knowing where you stand isn't about comparison. It's about setting realistic goals. The wealth gap is real, but understanding it helps you take practical steps. It's not about being in the top 10%, but about moving up, one step at a time. Recognize the economic realities and focus on what you can control. Knowledge is power. Use it to your advantage. Let's break down what these numbers really mean for you. Ready to see how averages can mislead? News reports often mention the average UK household wealth, making it sound like a simple number that represents everyone's situation. But this average is usually the mean, an amount that's heavily skewed by the super rich, whose fortunes can distort the picture for everyone else. Imagine a group of 10 people. 9 have just $10 each, but one person has $1 million. Suddenly, the average wealth jumps dramatically. The mean in this case is over $100,000, but that's not even close to what most people in the group actually have. It creates a misleading impression. That's why the median is more useful. It's the middle value if you lined up every household by wealth, showing what's typical rather than exceptional. In the UK, the mean household wealth is over $360,000, but the median is much lower, closer to $180,000. This gap is significant. That means half of all UK households have less than $180,000 in total wealth, and half have more. The median gives a clearer sense of where most people stand. The large gap between mean and median shows just how concentrated wealth is at the very top, with a small number of people holding a huge share. So, whenever you hear statistics about wealth, always ask yourself, is it the mean or the median? The difference matters. Comparing yourself to the mean can be discouraging because it's not a realistic benchmark for most people. The median is a much fairer comparison. Don't let skewed statistics make you feel like you're falling behind or failing financially. Instead, Use the median as your guide when thinking about your own financial planning and setting goals for the future. Understanding the difference between mean and median helps you set realistic, achievable goals that actually fit your situation. Focus on what's typical for most people, not what's exceptional or out of reach for the majority. Now, let's take a closer look at what actually makes up our wealth and how you can build yours over time. Wealth isn't just cash, it's made up of four main parts. First, property. Your home's value minus any mortgage. For most, this is the biggest asset. Second, private pensions. Money saved for retirement, often your second largest asset. Third, financial wealth. Savings, ISAs, investments. Money you can access quickly. The wealthiest have much more in investments, not just property. Fourth, physical wealth. Cars, furniture, valuables, usually the smallest slice. Most people's wealth is tied up in property and pensions, with less in liquid assets. Knowing your mix helps you see your strengths and where to focus. Calculate your net worth by adding these up and subtracting debts. This gives you a clear, honest picture of your financial position. How does the UK compare globally? On mean wealth per adult, we rank high, thanks to property prices and the assets of the richest. But on median wealth, we slip below countries like Australia and Belgium. This means our wealth is less evenly spread than in many other nations. The typical UK adult has less wealth than the average headline suggests. In the US, mean wealth is higher, but median wealth is lower than the UK's, showing even greater inequality. The UK is wealthy by global standards, but inequality is a real issue. The national tide doesn't lift all boats equally. That's why it's crucial to take control of your own financial future. Focus on building your own assets, not just relying on the national average. Let's look at how region, age, and gender shape your wealth. Where you live matters a lot. The place you call home can shape your financial future in ways you might not expect. For example, the Southeast's median wealth is more than double the Northeast's, and that's largely down to soaring property prices in the South. Where you grow up or settle can open doors or close them when it comes to building wealth. Geography creates what's often called a postcode lottery for wealth, where your address can determine your opportunities and financial security. But it's not just about location. Age is another big factor that shapes wealth in the UK. Older households have had decades to build up savings, invest in property, and benefit from rising house prices over time. Meanwhile, younger people today face high student debt, stagnant wages, and a much tougher property market, making it harder to get ahead. The median wealth for 55-64-year-olds is over 20 times that of 25-34-year-olds. And the gender gap persists. Women typically hold less wealth, earn less, and have smaller pensions than men, often because of career breaks for childcare, part-time work, and lower average pay. These divides don't exist in isolation. They intersect and compound. For instance, a young woman living in a deprived area faces very different financial challenges than an older man in the Southeast, with fewer resources and opportunities. Recognizing these factors isn't about making excuses or feeling defeated. It's about understanding your starting point, so you can make informed decisions and set realistic goals. Tailor your financial strategy to your unique circumstances, whether that means seeking advice, budgeting carefully, or planning for the long term. Younger people may need to prioritize building up pensions and savings early, even if it feels tough. Those in lower value areas might focus on building financial assets outside of property, like investments or side businesses. Awareness is the first step to overcoming these headwinds. By understanding the landscape, you can start to chart your own path forward. Now let's talk about the role of property in building and sometimes dividing wealth in the UK. For many, a home is their biggest asset. And the story of UK wealth is largely the story of property prices. Those who bought decades ago have seen huge gains, funding retirement and helping their families. But for those not on the ladder, high prices and rising rents make homeownership feel impossible. This creates a divide: property haves and have-nots, fueling intergenerational inequality. Recent interest rate hikes have made mortgages more expensive, squeezing both current owners and would-be buyers. Property is no longer a guaranteed path to wealth. Relying solely on your home is risky in today's market. Diversifying, building up pensions and investments is more important than ever. Don't put all your eggs in the property basket. Let's look at how to secure your future beyond bricks and mortar. After property, pensions are the biggest source of wealth for most UK households. Auto-enrollment brought millions into pension saving, but most contribute only the legal minimum, often not enough for a comfortable retirement. Many risk a sharp drop in living standards when they stop working. The gender pension gap is stark. Women retire with pots a third smaller than men's, due to lower pay and career breaks. Systemic change is needed, but individual action matters too. Check your pension projections. Are you on track? Even a 1% increase in contributions can make a big difference over time. If your employer matches higher contributions, take full advantage. It's free money. Your pension is your future paycheck. Engage with it now. Small changes today can transform your tomorrow. Now let's turn knowledge into action. Wealth inequality can feel overwhelming, but you're not powerless. Start by getting organized. List your assets and debts to find your net worth. Use tax-efficient accounts like ISAs and pensions. Don't leave free money on the table. Build an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, in cash. For long-term goals, invest. Cash savings lose value to inflation, but stocks and shares can grow your wealth. Start simple. A low-cost global tracker fund in a stocks and shares ISA is a great first step. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on your own progress. Set small, achievable goals. Build a $1,000 emergency fund. Open an ISA or increase your pension by 1%. Consistency beats perfection. Small actions, repeated over time, build real wealth. The journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Use what you've learned to inform your strategy, not fuel anxiety. Take one step today. Your future self will thank you. You have the power to shape your financial story.